Chris, take it away.
All right, can the rest of you see the agenda because it's not up on my screen?
I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it must be my own technical difficulties. So yeah. What we're going to do first is we're going to try it this way and see how it works. We want to go through all the agenda items and have the folks that are speaking to these agenda items be able to go through them. Then once we've gone through all of them, we're going to go back and starting at 4A, we're going to open it up to everybody for additional comments or questions on the different agenda items. Also, if you are new to the SIG and you haven't sent your name to Dr. Fielder yet, please go ahead and do that, and her email is in the agenda. Jeff?
Yes, thank you, and welcome back to everybody. The first item that we wanted to discuss is about Dr. Fielder and Dr. Winford. Ebony and Robin are going to be our two new co-secretaries. We had several applications for the position and just some great folks applying for it, and but we're very happy to have Ebony and Robin now, who are going to share the responsibility for the secretary position. And so I'm going to ask them each just to say a couple words about themselves and what they're doing right now, and then also what their responsibilities are going to be with this SIG. So, Ebony,
I'm Ebony Winford. I'm a behavioral health consultant here at Cherokee Health Systems, and I will be responsible for handling meeting organization. So if you have any questions about how to log on to GoToWebinar, when the meetings will be, etc., I'll be handling that, as well as sending out any email reminders with the agenda or any additional housekeeping issues. Today I am taking minutes, but as we noted before, this will be recorded. So if there's something missed in the minutes, you'll be able to access it from our website at a later date.
Great, and I'm Robin Fielder. I'm a postdoctoral fellow at the VA Center for Integrated Healthcare, based at the Syracuse VA. And I will be maintaining our SIG listserv, which we were working on, and then I'll also be handling sign-ups for our various committees that we'll be discussing later in the meeting. So as you guys are interested in joining the committees, you can shoot me an email, and we'll get your names to the committee leaders and get that all organized. And speaking of the listserv, I can go ahead and give an update on that. We've developed our Pcbh SIG listserv, and most of you, hopefully, received an email in the last week. Welcome to the listserv email, which we sent when we had the listserv go live. We've been doing most of our communication about the meetings on the larger CFHA listserv up to this point, because we're trying to cast a wider net right now, so we can make sure we get all the interested folks to join the group. Eventually, maybe in the next month or two, we'll be transitioning to the specific Pcbh SIG listserv, and we'll be communicating through that. So if you joined prior to the last week, you should have got that welcome email. If you just joined in the past few days, I'm going to be adding your name to our list soon, and then you'll get a welcome email. And also we wanted to let everyone know that so far we have 84 members in the SIG, so it's a great group, and I anticipate that we'll have some more members trickling in over the next few weeks.
Very good. Great. Thank you. And as we talked about at last month's meeting, our goal with selecting secretaries was to get people who are early in their career. So you notice these are both people who are very energetic and are early in their career as well. So it's great to have them be a part of the SIG leadership group. So now we're going to go through each of the goals and deliverables. So these are all of these items under number 4 here are are ideas that were discussed at last month's meeting when we had kind of open discussion about, you know, activities for the SIG to be doing and so forth. And so we pulled a number of those ideas from that meeting and have started working on kind of fleshing them out a little bit this month by forming committees and so forth. So we're going to run through these different items, and as Chris was mentioning, our goal to make sure we get through everything is just to first run through and update you all on each of these items, and then we'll start back at 4A again and open it up for discussion on each topic. So so the first one is a webinar work group. So we had talked at the last meeting about forming a work group that would get ideas from the SIG members about topics that we might develop webinars on, that we would probably list on our SIG website, for example, so that people could access for educational opportunities. Maybe we would attach continuing education to them if possible. These would be SIG-generated topics and developed by SIG members who are subject matter experts. And so that's what this webinar work group will be all about, is you know, sort of organizing these topics, recruiting people to develop and present these webinars. They'll be working on developing a sort of standard format PowerPoint that is a brand for our SIG, so that all of our webinars kind of look consistent and people recognize it as a product that comes, you know, from the SIG. And so we've had 5 people who have volunteered to form the work group. So you can see them on the agenda there. It's Randy Dublin, Jennifer Funderburk, Leslie Manson, Shonda Wells, Michelle Wine. In no particular order, other than alphabetized. And but if people are interested in joining, I think this could be a work group that could have a fair amount of work associated with it. So so if other people are interested in participating in the work group, please email to Robin. Her email address is right there. And we're going to, at some point in the next couple of weeks, organize a call with this work group, and Chris and I and Robin and Ebony to kind of get things off the ground more with it. So that is that. And when we come back to this for the discussion time, maybe, you know, we could take some ideas about you know, topics and so forth. Get that process going.
So on to 4B, that is serving as a placeholder at this point. I don't have any additional information. I should have more information about what the conference committee wants to do with this suggestion in another couple of months. So we can move on to C.
All right. Very efficient. So C is another idea that came up at the last meeting, was to have a social outing for the SIG at the CFHA conference. And so this was another idea that we you know, decided to form a committee around, and Randy Dublin, in addition to volunteering to be in the webinar work group, has also agreed to chair that, the committee that would be working on this. And I don't know, Randy, is Randy in on the call? I don't know if Randy would have anything that she would want to say. Let me see. Not seeing her in the...
Randy, I think you're unmuted, so Randy is on the call.
Great. I may be putting you on the spot here, Randy, so that's all right. You don't have to say anything. But is there anything in particular you would want to say about initial thoughts about forming a committee?
Sorry, guys. I think everyone accidentally got muted. I apologize. I'm having some technical difficulties. I was trying to unmute Randy, and I think I muted everybody else. So Randy should be unmuted now. Panelists, are you guys unmuted?
Yep.
I am now, yeah, so I won't take it personally. I thought it was just
So I'm afraid we're just not able to hear Randy for some reason.
Okay. Well, that's okay. So the main point, I mean, we'll have more to talk about as I'm sure as we get closer to the conference, you know. So, but the main point is that Randy is going to be chairing that committee. She lives in the D.C. area, and if you're interested in joining that committee and helping her out with organizing a social outing, please email to her. Her email address is on the agenda there. So don't email Robin about that one. Email Randy directly if you want to join that committee.
And Randy, if you have any specific bullet points that you want me to add here to the minutes just to summarize what you're thinking, you can forward that to me. This is Ebony talking. I guess it's hard to hear whether she heard that or not, right?
So we're ready to move on to 4D?
Let's go on to 4D, and then if we have, we'll be going back through all this stuff again anyway shortly here, and maybe we'll figure out the muting issue by that point so people can chime in.
So 4D, part of what we wanted to do as a product for our SIG is to create a toolkit for our members, and really a toolkit that is there for both students, teachers, researchers, clinicians, where they can kind of go and have one-stop shopping. And the idea is to, on our website, have a place where we have things like practice tools, things that are related to graduate and postgraduate training programs, things like a syllabus, what kind of text are people using, different access to different experts in the field in terms of, hey, if you want to find out more about this, you might want to contact this person. I know a lot of information's already out there and available at different websites, and so one of the things that that this committee that's putting this toolkit might also do is sort of gather kind of best products from other websites so we don't have to reinvent things, but still have it all located on our CFHA website where we really do have one-stop shopping, and it's easy to scan that and quickly find what you're looking for. So if you think that you might be interested in being part of the committee that is putting this toolkit together and maintaining it and having it grow over time, go ahead and please shoot an email to Robin.
All right, great. And moving on to, and as we're going through this, you know, keep in mind that we are going to have more discussions. So if you have ideas for other topics for the toolkit or specific ideas, that'll be great to bring up during the discussion part of the meeting. Okay, so item 4E then is development of a frequently asked questions section for the for our SIG website. So this would be just the idea would be just to have kind of a a page that answers all of the common questions that people have about the PCBH model. It might be questions about the model itself, or about how do you bill for this, or what about this or that ethical or legal question that people have. Just the common questions and concerns that come up when you're training people in this model, so that we would have a good repository of information there on our SIG webpage where people could go to with those basic questions. So this is another thing that will be forming a committee to work on, a work group to work on, put together. So if you're interested in being a part of that, then please email also to Robin. And I think that's about it for that topic, for that item. And I guess the next one is mine as well. So collaboration opportunities. Okay, so as you can see, we've already got a lot of projects that this group that's on the call right now came up with last month that we're all realizing this is going to be a very active SIG, I think. But if there, in addition to all of this, there may be, hopefully, projects that you're working on in your organization that you would like to maybe collaborate on with somebody else who's practicing the PCBH model in some other organization. So we're hoping that the SIG, in particular the SIG listserv, could be a medium for making connections with people who are doing similar work and have similar interests. So so we want to encourage people, if you have a project like that, you want to collaborate with somebody else. It might be a research project, it might be a workshop at an upcoming conference, or anything like that. Please use the listserv. It's one of the purposes of it. So please use it to throw that idea out there and try to find people who are also interested. And we do have a couple of collaboration projects that have already been thrown up here to us that we wanted to talk about today. And they're listed there on the agenda. One is from Danielle King, and then the other one is from Melissa Baker. And then during our discussion time, we can certainly come up with other potential collaboration ideas that people have. But you guys want to run through, Chris, just the rest of the business items here, and then we'll maybe start back through everything?
Sure. Yeah. So as a reminder, being able to participate in this SIG at least for any time in the near future is going to be limited to CFHA membership. So if you know people who might be interested in being part of the SIG, encourage them to join CFHA if they haven't done so before. As I understand it, for first-time professional membership, it's only $100, so it's relatively inexpensive to be a first-time member of CFHA. And we're planning on continuing to have this SIG meeting on the first Wednesday of every month. That will be at 12 Pacific time, and I don't think that's going to change anytime in the near future. So why don't we go ahead and go back up and get input from folks starting at 4A. If we have anybody that has a comment or a question on 4A, go ahead and raise your hand and let Polly know that you have a question, and she should be able to give you the word to go ahead and go on that. Polly, are you getting any activity?
No, not that I can see. And I would encourage people to unmute themselves if they'd like to say something, and I will try to unmute, make sure everyone is unmuted as well.
So it could be that nobody has.
Chris, I'm sorry. I think in my attempt to unmute everyone, I muted you again. So you should be unmuted now.
Right, got it.
Could you?
So let's go to 4C.
You could ask them to try raising their hand.
Any comments or questions on 4C about the social outing?
Hey, Chris, could we test and ask someone, maybe Danielle King, if she could raise her hand and see if I can get her unmuted to test this?
I think you just did.
Okay, Danielle, will you talk so we can see if we can hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Yay! Yes,
Yes.
thank you. So, Chris, I think that piece is working.
Okay.
And I can just unmute everyone if you'd like me to.
Let's try that and see how we do.
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
So now everybody should be able to chime in, and if you're munching on potato chips, we should be able to hear that too, right?
Correct. And some people have still have themselves muted, so I'll do my best to unmute them, but if they have themselves muted, we won't be able to hear them.
Okay. Okay. So, but it should be the case that if you're listening and you want to chime in on an item,
Look at it head on, realistically.
then go ahead and chime in.
So that's what I would do.
Okay, should we just go on to so we're on 4C, right?
Right.
Okay. Any input people want to give or ideas, comments about the social outing?
Okay, so hearing none, let's go to 4D.
So for this one, any particular ideas about topics to develop in the toolkit? We already have some potential ones there. Any other ideas about that? I'm getting a nice echo. I don't know if everybody else is.
Guys, I'm wondering if we could ask people. I've unmuted everyone, but we can ask them to please mute themselves.
Hello, this is Randy Dublin. Can anyone hear me?
Yep.
Oh, hi. Okay.
Hey, it's working.
I was just trying to speak about 4C and just add one other comment, that if anyone who lives in the D.C. area is interested in helping out with the social outing, I'd be happy to have you work with us, as I live close to D.C. but not in the city.
Mm-hmm. And I think, though, that it's fair to say that a person doesn't need to live in the D.C. area in order to help you out with this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we initially sent them to the market, sent new ones to Metro, and then send it back to
So any comment on 4E?
So let me get on the phone with the market. What they have to do is back there to put it out so that
Those of you that are typing or talking in the background, if you could please mute yourselves, we'd appreciate it.
ready to go, and they will take it. So let me get it.
Hearing no comment on 4E, do we know, is Danielle on the line? We know Fluffy.
Similarly, if anyone has a dog, you might mute yourself.
I am here. This is Danielle King.
Hi. Yeah, you have any want to talk just briefly about what you're looking to put together?
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity. Our last discussion, that it was mentioned that we could use this SIG to collaborate with others on proposal ideas for the 2014 CFHA conference. I am interested in putting together a proposal that's very practical for students and new professionals on the process of job acquisition and program development. So if anyone is interested in working with me on that, I would love to collaborate with you. You can contact me via the listserv or through my email, which is on the document.
And I'm going to jump in here. This is Jeff, and I'm going to jump in here and say two things. One is I'm going to have to, unfortunately, sign off on this meeting in just a few seconds here because I'm in the middle of a training that I have to get back to. But I want to thank everybody for participating, and we really do have a lot of good things going on. And secondly, you know, we got plenty of time left in the meeting, or the rest of you do. So if you want to talk more about these proposals, Danielle and Melissa, go into a little bit more detail. I think, you know, it's fine to do that.
Melissa, would you like to comment on yours?
Sure. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Awesome. Double checking. So hi all, my name is Melissa Baker. I work up here at Health Washington with Jeff Ryder. I have a quick announcement about a project that my colleagues and I are doing up here at HealthPoint. We put together this 8-minute online survey for primary care providers that assesses their stress levels, their psychological flexibility, and their overall satisfaction with behavioral health services. We've already implemented this study in our clinics, and we're doing this little intervention attached to it right now, and we're getting some great outcomes and great information. And what our hope is we'd like to expand this project to include other health centers that implement the Pcbh model and get some more information about these measures and these surveys we're using with our providers. And what we're offering is access to these other clinics, that the data that we gain would be available to your clinic to use as a program evaluation or just to see what kind of data your providers provide or information about the behavioral health services. My email is listed there. I will put a little bit more information out to the list server. I'll note what measures we're using in screeners with the providers. But if you're interested, we would love to talk further with any other clinics who would want to join in some of this research that we're doing.
Just to check, is this Randy Dublin?
This is Melissa Baker.
Oh, sorry. Okay, just trying to make sure I'm watching the right thing here.
Yeah. So, Melissa, we just email you if we're interested, and then you can send us.
Tell me directly, and I'll put an email out to the list server today as well, so that way there's a little more details and information if you want it.
So I'd like to open it up for anybody who has any additional comments or questions.
This is Leslie. I just wanted to just say one comment on the creation of the kind of PCBH toolkit. Is I thought that perhaps what we could do for now is link on to all the current PCBH toolkits that are out there. There's a lot that are state, sponsored, and and other obvious associations that have sponsored them as well.
Absolutely. Well.
Okay. You're welcome. Have a good afternoon. No, he said, oh yeah, she said it right.
Okay. Hearing nothing else, I think that we're probably at the end of our meeting today. I think these meetings will go longer as our committees get formed. Part of what we're going to want to do is have our committees and report out at each meeting on what they're doing, and so that we'll have a little bit more content in our future meetings. Please do use our SIG listserv to communicate with each other. knowing that you're going to access folks that are specifically interested in this model of service delivery. And if you have any comments or questions about today's meeting or any suggestions about anything that you'd like to see on the agenda or how you'd like to see our SIG move in the future, please email me or Jeff. We're happy to get any kind of feedback, both positive and constructive. So please let us know if you have any thoughts. Secretaries, any parting words?
Just remember, this is Robin. Remember to email me, robin.fielder@va.gov, if you want to join the committees. I've had a few people do that during the meeting. I'm sure there's more folks who are interested. And email me also if you haven't. Send us notice that you want to join the SIG, and we can get you on the listserv.
Polly, any parting information?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Chris, I think that a few people have had questions that for some reason I've been unable to pull up, but it does record your questions. So if for some reason we haven't been able to answer your question in the meeting, I will forward it on to the co-chairs and secretaries, and we'll make sure and get it answered. I apologize for that.
Well, also, I mean, we do have time. If you typed in a question and you have not had that question heard, please feel free to speak up, and let's see if we can address it now.
I think Patricia Robinson had one listed, and I do have you not on mute, Patricia, if you're still there. But it looks like she's muted, so I think we'll just have to, Chris, I think we'll just have to sort through these.
Right. And I think our technical problems that we had on our last meeting have been significantly minimized, and we will continue to work to make sure that we have this as flawless from a technological perspective as we can as we move forward. So thanks for your time, thanks for your participation, and we'll see you again next month. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Chris, do you want us to hang on?
Ebony, are you still there?
I am.
For some reason, Chris is muted, and I can't unmute him.
Looks like Robin is too.
I wonder if he's muted himself.
Okay.
We've still got a few people on, but most are logging off. Maybe we can kind of talk through some.
Yeah. Especially since it ended early, I figured we can chat about how it went.
Oh, it looks like maybe Chris is logged off.
Okay. Oh, he just typed.
I wish we had a way to let you all see the folks that are